for the Two Towns tournament, which is the second event in Grand Tour Season 2. The way this works is there's a tournament in a single day where we start out with a round of 32 early in the day and stream until it's done. You'll notice both us and Escape are streaming today, so you can tune into either channel and see different games um, in the earlier stages, and later I think Escape will take the finals and later stages. I'm not sure of that. Special rules in this tournament. This tournament is being played on the Smackdown patch, where you currently start with a second town center wagon at the beginning of the game, so that's the name of the tournament. You have two towns in this tournament. Today I am casting on this stream for the first couple hours here with Edeholland, which I think is the right way
Hey
to say that.
guys.
So we're gonna get started momentarily here. We're about ready to green up in our first game with iamturk versus djigit. So I guess we're ready to go. Are we on the
Yeah, it looks like
right
it's gonna
map here?
be looks like it's gonna be a Japanese mirror, which is interesting. I always assumed that the economic heavy civs maybe wouldn't be too strong having two town centers, since they don't really benefit from a few extra villagers. But then again, it can really help you set up a defensive position and can prolong the game, which of course benefits the more economic civilizations. So it's an interesting dynamic, and I'm
Yes.
interested to see how it turns out.
Yeah, I definitely think Japan mirror makes a lot of sense here, where Japan's biggest challenge, I think, is to kind of get into the later game, and having two town centers to set up defensively can help them do that.
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to click into Digit versus iamturk here.
Is this a best of one in the first round here, I think?
Yeah, this is a best of one. It's just high plains, and whoever wins this will proceed to the next stage. And I'm pretty sure that the next stage is already a best of three. Or maybe even that is a best of one. Yeah, on
I think
parallel
that's a best of
rivers.
one also.
Yeah. So yeah, early on you're gonna be knocked out of the tournament relatively quickly with just a few games, but goes on, of course, we will have best of 5, 7. All right, so a Japanese mirror, and they always have been a little bit more of a defensive matchup, right? I mean, nobody's really rushing the other player most of the time. It's a
Right.
lot of musketeer wars.
Yeah, the Japanese mirror is really not one I'm super familiar with. I'm mostly aware that it tends to be an Ashigaru war, although I feel like that's kind of an old meta. Has the meta evolved a little bit in the last few years of Japanese mirrors?
Yeah, and even with a second town center, I think this will become even.
Yeah, absolutely. We should see
Okay.
some meta changes due to that. All right,
Yeah.
so we've got iamturk in the north of the map playing as Japan in the color blue, and we've got djigit in the south of the map playing in the color green.
Yeah, and it looks like both of them immediately popping down one of the orchard. Digit actually scouting around with his second orchard, Rickshaw, of course, giving him some extra line of sight. I think that's always a good idea. And it looks like iamturk is going for a very aggressive town center. And as you know, iamturk is really familiar with an aggressive Japanese style. He's not one to always boom it out, but a lot of the times he goes for an aggressive strategy. And of course, a forward town center really helps him with that. He can ship shipments there and also get a good map control. So Digit may want to be more on the defensive side in this matchup.
Yeah, and djigit here picking up 130 food, which is definitely going to help his age up time. Turk just walking by and just barely not able to contend that, and we calling GG right now since he's missed that 130 food.
130 food is not just enough food to make a villager, but always make sure that your age up is even quicker. So it definitely gives him a lot of time here, and that would be good against any strategy really. So definitely a nice treasure to pick up early on here.
Yep, and we do see the Portuguese consulate coming in from both players here as expected, uh, which should speed up their age up, makes it cost only 680 food, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And both of them now building a shrine, and in the meantime, Digit taking another nice treasure, 70 XP here in the south of the map, and that's going to be used not first shipment. I think they already sent that underway, but he is already halfway to his next shipment, so that's a nice pickup for him.
Yeah, talking about shipments, let's take a look at the decks here. I haven't looked yet. I don't know if there's any major differences here. Um,
It looks like Digit has some interesting. He has the Trade Empire, which is basically like advanced trading post, but for the Asian
yeah,
civilizations.
and Trade
So that's an
Empire coming in.
interesting. It's actually coming in. Okay, so this is of course very different from Heavenly Kami, which is something that most players are going for in the H1. I am Turk actually going for 2 villagers, which is also uncommon, but it's I am Turk standard, I think, for his aggressive build. So it's not too expected. But Trading Empire, so he's going for some kind of trade post economy and opposed to a shrine-based economy. So that's really interesting.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting. And so do you think the 2 villagers pays off a little quicker and helps fuel that aggressive play? Is that
Well,
kind of the logic there?
it definitely pays off quicker than Heavily Kami, but yeah, the question is if he can do enough damage early on to actually make it worth it, because the player who have Heavily Kami will definitely outscale him after like, well, 8 minutes or something. But early on, 2 villagers is definitely better since, well, Heavily Kami only really gives you an advantage once you start building shrines, which is, well, mostly after H-up and a few during H-up. But before that, nothing really happens with that shipment.
Yeah, and we do see both shrines going down here for the age up, although I Am Turk is quite far ahead on the age up. Despite sending 2 villagers, he was only up to 15 vills when he put his shrine down, whereas Digit didn't put his wonder down until he was at 17 vills. So Digit trained a lot more villagers out of his 2 town centers, whereas it looks like I Am Turk was really only training out of the 1 during age 1.
Yeah, and that's really an interesting dynamic that we see in almost every game in this special format. Do you even use your second town center that early on? Because, of course, it gives you a nice eco boost. It basically doubles your economy or doubles the acceleration of your economy, but it really slows your age up down. And that also means it shows your second age shipments down and your military down. And in the end, it might actually cost you more than it gains you. And it looks like Digit indeed has utilized his 2 town centers to the maximum potential. So training a lot of villagers, whereas I'm Turk, well, hasn't really trained anything out of here. I think if you,
Yeah.
as you can see, there's nothing on the gold mine. There are no berries nearby. So even if a villager's trained there, it can't really go anywhere except on that gold mine, or it has to walk all the way back to his base. So
Yeah, that's definitely a good point with this
definitely
aggressive
interesting.
town center. Is that as Japan can't hunt these villagers, if you train them out in the middle of the map, are really pretty vulnerable and not a lot they can do. Um,
Yeah, it's not like it's protecting any Hans. I mean, Japanese, especially in Japanese Mirror, you don't really have to protect your Hans at all, since it's unlikely that other players going to go all over the map to raid a shrine. So this is an interesting placement, but looks like now the first villager popped out of there and is mining there.
yeah, finally deciding to utilize that. Digit has picked up all 3 of the, or rather 3 of the 5 trading posts on the trading post line. I'm kind of expecting to see Stagecoach come in at some point, although I don't know when that's going to be economically feasible.
Well, he just received 600 votes, so right now he could, in theory, start researching it. Let's see text being researched. It's not there at this moment, so I think for now he's going for more infrastructure. As you can see, 2 barracks are coming up, And iamturk already has got 2 barracks in his base, so not really using the forward villagers, but building all the infrastructure he has in his base, even his market and barracks. So for now, he's not being too aggressive yet, but we will see what his third shipment is. That will definitely indicate the strategy he will go for in the second age.
Yeah, we saw this very aggressive town center placement, but we haven't seen much come out of it. Like you say, these barracks are in base. He's shipped 600 wood as his first colonial shipment, and that was pretty recently. So we're probably and 4 villagers as his third shipment here. So he's really going for a very economic build despite this forward town center.
Yeah, very interesting to see. He's actually going a more economic route. And well, as I said before, in theory, I think Digit should come out ahead here with the trading posts and heavily Kami. The 600 wood, of course, helping him build a lot more shrines. He's now on 90 shrine pop against 120. So he has to build some more infrastructure to actually make up for it. But there's still a lot of hunts he has around his base, very well protected. So there's a lot of more potential for shrines.
Yeah, we do see the Basterios coming out from Digit here and coming to start sieging some of these blue shrines, and a pretty big batch of Ashy too. Is that 6 Ashy? Yeah.
That looks like 6 Ashy, so 3 from both barracks, and that should also indicate to iamturk that he has 2 barracks, which is maybe not something you want to give away, but then again, it is kind of to be expected.
We didn't even talk about this, that Digit sent Kami as his second card, so he's going for both this very economic trading post boom with the shrine boom behind it. And there's Stagecoach coming in as we're talking about this economic
Yeah,
powerhouse he's building.
and his fourth shipment being 4 villagers, so now he's not that far behind of iamturk in terms of villagers. He is right now 6 villager population behind, but he's got the trade route. So in practice, he's definitely ahead. Let's take a look at the market tax. Only got the second food upgrade and civil servant, so no imperial bureaucracy yet. And when that hits, it's definitely a nice bonus to either one's economy.
Yeah, we do have a bit of a fight going on here. Just mix of Besteros and Ashy here. iamturk managing to chase Digit off a little bit here, and looks like he's going to siege one of these trading posts down, which I think is a good choice.
And it looks like Digit is now in the position to just constantly pump out 10 Ashigari at a time. So now he has to start thinking about, is he going to keep out spamming Ashigari, or does he want to age up at some point, or does he want to mix in cavalry? Because, well, at some point you have to make use of your resources and not stack them up.
Yeah, absolutely. And although he's able to pump out quite a few Ashy here, he's really not winning this battle, at least not
There's
decisively.
Ashy attack.
Yeah, that's definitely going to swing
Yeah.
it in Turk's favor here. So despite this big batch, he's kind of got to be worried about this. And Turk doing the same thing here. I just now pumping out another batch of 10 Ashy, and easily able to contend this match.
Yeah, it looks like Digit is just a few seconds earlier with every batch of Ashigari that he pumps out. So he's able to swing it in his favor for a little bit, and then iamturk, his reinforcement batches come and join him, and then he has to move again. What would you do as Digit in this situation? I would maybe consider just going for that town center and try if you can idle all those villagers, since iamturk is going all the way to the top of the map.
Yeah, I definitely think that might be a good move here. I don't know how aware he is of this central town center. I mean, he's certainly seen it with his stagecoach going by it, but of all these vills here. And the Ashy are pretty quick, so they might be able to walk across the map to save that before he can do too much damage.
Yeah, that is true. And as you can see, now Digit has gone for the Japanese consulate and is adding a third barracks. So I'm not quite sure if he's going for the upgrade that lets you train batches of 10, because in that case you wouldn't really need a third barracks. But looks like iamturk is staying on Portuguese consulate for a bit. Maybe for a potential age up at some point, but Digit is going for the Japanese ones, which boosts his military stats, which I think is a good choice once you hit these numbers of military units.
Yeah, and we do see Turk splitting off some Ashy on the right side over here to take down some shrines in the east side of the map, and now with his daimyo to help contend in the other upgrade to help fight off the army, I think he feels quite comfortable in the middle of the map now. Yeah, and Digit now aging up, which I don't think is a horrible idea here. He needs to do something to be able to get back into this and help fight this military disadvantage.
And it looks like when Digit did send the two Orchard, iamturk went for the Daimyo, so he really has to win now. He isn't even gathering a lot of food. Okay, there are the two Orchards, so he was idled for a little bit there. He didn't have any food income, but looks like now he's going for the Orchards
Yeah,
to
he was maxed
gather
out
up
on the
more
one
food.
orchard there, so it wasn't really the end of the world. He had
Yeah.
20 vills on that one orchard, and it was able to get that shipment in before the other two came out, and was able to get a little bit of work done with his daimyo before he sent that orchard shipment. So delaying that, I think, works out to his advantage.
Yeah, definitely. But now Digit has pumped out both Minuteman badges from both town centers, which definitely gives him a good advantage for now, and should delay this fight long enough for him to age up and upgrade his unit. So I think now that Turk has scouted the age up, he will definitely go in more and try to do damage. Well, the units are not upgraded yet, but here are already the 6 reinforcing Yumi with 2 town centers that can potentially deal out damage. I think it's going to be hard for iamturk to actually win this battle convincingly.
Yeah, definitely part of this due to the two town aspect here. This is going to be a hard base to push into. So some of Digit's Ashy is walking off to the top left here, which he really wanted in that fight, but veteran Ashy coming in here, which is really going to help swing this fight, and iamturk's deciding he's got to run away, at least for now.
Yeah, and it looks like iamturk is now also aging up, so he's following Digit, but right now Digit should have a timing to push in, and I hope he realizes it, because that can definitely give him a nice advantage if he's able to do damage. If he can kill this town center before the H-up hits, it can definitely improve his chances, and also means that he won't be able to ship units to the town center.
Yeah, and
although he
is pushing here, like you say, taking advantage of that timing, although the shipment he just sent is close combat. Is that, what does that do?
It does give you more attack against cavalry, but also gives you 20% to, 15% to Ashigari HP. So it's not just an anti-cavalry card, but also just a generic Ashigari card.
Oh, okay.
Like he's wasting this only to do more damage to the daimyo, although that's what the card picture basically implies, right? It's a horse with some blood. But
yeah, and veteran Ashy now coming in from Turkey, he's up to age 3, so he's starting to feel a little better about taking this fight, and his mass is a little bigger, and he has the daimyo to fight with. Although
the daimyo is dead now.
Yeah, not being too careful with that daimyo and losing it there.
Okay, it looks like the military unit advantage is still to Digit, and I don't know what iamturk can reasonably do at this point. He doesn't really have an equal advantage, neither a military advantage, so maybe some flaming arrows. But
Yeah,
even
2 flaming
that,
arrows
I
coming
think
out.
is
Okay, and
there
Digit
they are.
Digit has to run away, but I would say I think Digit's doing very well here and staying ahead in score.
Yeah, I think maybe we have underestimated him a little beforehand. So this has turned out to be quite a close game, and I'm interested to see where it takes off.
Yeah, me too. I noticed in chat someone earlier saying it was over quite a while ago, but this definitely doesn't look over by any means.
Yeah, I'm wondering who that person thought would have won at that point, actually, because it wasn't really decided yet at any point, I feel like. But
yeah, I think they
okay,
were
maybe
calling
now
it
iamturk
for
has got a good.
Turk maybe, but
Okay, I think this is a good fight for Turk, especially if he sends some extra Minutemen out of his town center.
Yeah, Digit,
Oh, two
not
more
quite
flaming
managing to
arrows.
take out these flaming arrows, and two more coming out. That's decisively going to swing this battle in Turk's favor, and Digit's got to run away back into his base here. Although he does have a little bit of a ashy mass, I think he's going to be able to hold once uh, back by his town centers.
Yeah, he's just sent another 2 orchards, so he's definitely going for the long route, but his current cherry orchards still have 2k food in it, so maybe he could have delayed that once more to build flaming arrows himself, which he could definitely use right now.
Yeah, we saw that last time he sent the 2 orchards maybe a little bit before he needed them, whereas Turk was able to delay them another shipment before he had to send them.
And it looks like now a whole gold mine crew is going to scout out for new gold mines, but both this one and this one are definitely scouted by iamturk, so I'm hoping he won't lose all his units, but looks like a fight is happening here, which is not really one Digit wants to take, I think.
Yeah, this looks like maybe a last-ditch effort by Digit to stay in this after his maybe military has kind of dwindled.
Yeah, I hope he gets a big reinforcements badge, but otherwise this looks like it could be over for Digit here, since these are his last military units dying, and iamturk has got a lot of reinforcements coming in. His villagers are getting harassed on the top of the map here. Although he does have some Yababushi himself to deal with. Turks' Yababushi.
Where did those come from? I didn't see those going out there with the
Yeah,
villagers.
both of them built from the consulate and sent them to the north to harass villagers. It looks like there's now a little fight between villagers and Yababushi. Looks like Digit is going to be fine here for now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and now you can see how sending the 2 orchards was really not necessary yet. They're still not being utilized. They're just sitting there in the back of his base. And, well, that really means that it was a waste of a shipment so far. And he could definitely have used 2 flaming arrows more.
Yeah, Digit trying to put up a castle here to save these villagers, but Turk walking in with his army, that's going to make quick work of this castle and most of these villagers.
Yeah, and I think at this point the game has been decided. It looks like...
Yeah, Turk is now up at 20 eco pop, plus he's taken most of the trading route here that I kind of missed that happening. But that's a solid economic lead and a pretty solid military lead as well. This is really going to be hard to come back from for Digit. Yep, there he goes.
Yeah, and there he
game.
calls it. GG. You're so OP. Well, this was actually quite an exciting game, and
Yeah, it was. And I'm told we have Soldier and Duck ready for us next. So I'm going to
okay,
adjust a few
but then
graphic
again,
settings.
iamturk has to play versus Breeze, I think, which could also be a very interesting,
Yeah, that could be an
interesting
interesting
matchup, I
game
think.
too.